everybody, it's Mrs. Elm here with another writing lesson. So yesterday we talked about writing nonfiction books, and we talked about making sure you're using your author's craft. So you're picking some really good things to make your books more interesting. And we talked about this chart, to pick a few things from this chart to make your books more interesting for your author's craft. So today I'm going to teach you one more way to keep your readers interested using a new author's craft. And that's by adding a little story to one of your chapters. Now this is not a whole book. This is a little story about your topic. So on my new book, Tigers, yesterday I showed you how I wrote the chapter about cute cubs, and I use a lot of author's craft. So today I'm going to show you my chapter about mighty meat and about what tigers eat. And I've added just a little short story in there that goes with what tigers eat. And by adding a little story in your chapter, it helps your readers to kind of picture and make a movie in their mind about your real teaching topic. So here's my chapter called Mighty Meat. Okay, so you see I've tried to do a lot of the things that we talked about yesterday with author's craft. I have like bold words, and then I have their definition. I added some color to make it interesting. If you see the word hooves here, and I like kind of tried to draw like animal footprints. I have an example here. The word raw, well, I have a definition, it means not cooked. And then on the other page I have an example. I used the word meat, and then I wrote some examples of meat. Chickens, pigs. I added a cool picture on the bottom with a bunch of labels. So that's some of my author's crafts, some nonfiction text features that I added. All right, here's my chapter. Tigers eat meat. Tigers that live in the wild must hunt for their own food. Tigers love to eat animals with hooves. Tigers that live in a zoo don't have to hunt. The zoo workers throw in raw meat for the tigers to munch on. And do you see how I put eat? Throw in raw meat for the tigers to eat, but I thought I could think of a fancier word for eat. So I thought like munch or chew. So I chose a little bit of a different word, to kind of like a sparkle word, to make it more interesting. So here's my story now. So it's all about like what tigers eat in the wild and at the zoo. So I thought, what story could I add? I've never seen a tiger in the wild before. I could add a little story about maybe like a video I've seen about a tiger in the wild hunting and maybe like stalking their prey and what I saw. That would be a great story to add. But I have been to the zoo before, and I have seen a tiger at the zoo before. So I decided to add a little short story about like one time when I was at the zoo and I saw a real tiger. And if you've never seen anything with your topic, you could maybe watch a video and say, one time I saw a video and here's what happened. So here's my little story, not too long. Once, when I went to the zoo, I saw a zoo worker carrying a large bucket of raw meat. They tossed it high up over the fence for the tigers to catch. Their huge teeth ripped it apart. And then I drew a picture of that. So I have the zoo worker, the very tall fence, the raw meat, and the tiger jumping. So my story was just a little story to add in. But adding in a little story about like something you've seen before could make your story a little bit more interesting. So today, I want you to try to do that with one of your chapters. Try to add a little story about one time you've seen a video, or if you're teaching about toys, like my favorite toy is blank, because, and add a little personal touch. There are some really good books that are teaching books, but they are written as a story, but they are true books. And they're called I Am books. And this author, Brad Meltzer, he is the author, and he pretends that he is different famous people in history. And it's not like our normal books where it says, George Washington was the blank, 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 blank. It's more like I was. So they're really cool books, and you can learn a lot. So what I did is you can do this with a grown-up here. You go to YouTube and you type in at the search bar, I Am books. And these are the ones that you can like buy off something on Audible, but if you scroll down, you can listen to them. And in the lesson plans, I have attached one about Amelia Earhart. So if you go back to our 2nd grade lesson plans, then you will see where I have attached one of the I Am books. So you can watch that one too. That one is a little different than I want you to do. I want you to add a little story in your nonfiction books. These are more of like a whole book about a story. So I want you to try to add a little story to one of your chapters to make your readers really interested in what you're saying. Okay, guys, that's all for now. I'd like you guys to set a timer. Just a minute, Powell. I'd like you to set a timer for your writing time, about a 20-minute timer, a 15 to 20-minute timer, and write. All right, guys, have fun writing today.